and it was really sunny, and I've come in and the weather's gone a little bit rubbish. So I'm in the greenhouse and I'm actually going to do some sowing while I'm in here. So in the autumn that we just had, I planted some broad beans, and with all the frost that we had some really hard frost down here, and they all got lost. So I'm actually going to sow some broad beans today and get them back in the ground. I'm going to sow them in the greenhouse so they've got a little bit of protection before I put them outside. What I also want to do is actually sow some turnips, not grown turnips before. So had a look at my little chart that I've got, and this is the chart that I use for my sowing. It says growing in the UK, but I'm just kind of following this just to get an idea of succession sowing at the moment, just to know when to plant and what to plant when. So this isn't going to be for everybody, but I'm going to try it for my area and just kind of adapt it as I go. So that's what I'm using at the moment. So at the moment, broad beans I can sow, turnips I can sow, radish I can sow, and I think that's it. But I am going to put some parsnips in as well, just to give them a go outside and see how they get on as well. So that's what I'm going to do now. So firstly, I'm going to do the sowing of the broad beans. Right, so firstly I'm going to do the broad beans, and I'm just going to put them into these pots that I've pre-sown already. So I'm just going to poke them in just below the surface and pop them in. So with broad beans, you'll find a little scar on them. Now, I don't know whether you plant them that way up or that way up, so I just pop them in. Because to be honest, a seed, a bulb will always find its own way. It will naturally go towards light. So yes, so I'm just going to pop them in, starting here, just below the surface, just to get them in. I say it's still a little bit cold here, so I'm sowing them in the greenhouse to get them started before I put them outside, because as you can hear the wind out there in a minute, it's really really rubbish weather still a little bit. So just going to give these a little bit of protection. Okay, there we go. That's the broad beans in. I'll put some radish in. As I say, I'm also going to sow these in the greenhouse, radish, although you can, it says sow these around outdoors. So these radish, I'm going to sow some indoors, but I'm also going to sow some in the bed outside. So I'm just going to put these in now. These ones are radish icicle long white. So they are a winter variety, so they should be okay outside, but I am just going to plant them in here for the moment, just until things start to get a little bit warmer. But you do want to keep these moist, so otherwise radish, if you let them dry out, they can get a little bit woody and they're a bit horrible. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so that's some radish sown, and that is also the broad bean sown. So that's actually going to replace, fingers crossed, the crop that I lost back in the autumn from all the frost. So fingers crossed they come back. Right, just going to go outside and just look to plant some turnips. Okay, so I've got two varieties of turnip that I'm actually going to sow outside. I've got the turnip, which is purple top Milan, and I'm also going to sow turnip snowball, and I'm actually going to sow it in this bed just here that's in front of me. So I'm just going to sow some drills. You just want to make a drill, kind of, a bit like a long line if you like, that you're going to sow them in. And then just pat them up with all this grass that's coming in. The first one I'm going to sow is the purple top Milan. Just literally going to sow them really lightly all the way down. And then the second one that I'm going to sow is the turnip snowball. So that's all the sowing done, which is great. Carrots are in. I decided to sow some carrots as well. So I've got carrots in, I've got the turnips in, the snowball and the white top I showed you. So they're all in, which is great. And I'm going to sow some more carrots in a few weeks' time and just get used to successional sowing and get my head round it and not having gaps, because I've had a lot of gaps over the years, and that's one thing that I am trying to avoid. So I'm just growing quite a lot of things at the moment. My plan is just to keep sowing things, and if I run out of room then I'll give them away. But yeah, I think I don't sow enough is my problem, so I'm just sowing a lot this year. So fab. Let me show you what's growing. So you may remember the shallots were really battered last year by slugs. And look at these. Look at them. They're brilliant. I'm really pleased with these. As I say, I didn't have any shallots last year and these look really good. So really pleased with these. Garlic looking really nice and healthy. Really loving these. Look, lovely green leaves. Look. So you can tell spring's on the way because little things like daffodils are starting to come up. So brilliant. Look at these daffodils over here. So these daffodils are just starting to come up, and oh, it's just really nice to see signs of spring all of a sudden really starting to show themselves. It's really nice. It's just really nice to see a few things growing in the garden and just starting to come in fruition. I've got two varieties of garlic. I've got a hard neck and I've got a soft neck. Just wanted to see what the difference was between the two, really. I've always grown soft neck. I've always grown soft neck, so just wanted to see what the difference between hard neck and soft neck was. So fab. But yeah, coming over here, we've got more signs of spring. So this is a pear tree, and look, isn't that amazing? Just all starting to blossom. And this was the tree that I actually cut back, and I show you. I actually gave him a little bit of a prune, so it's really nice just to see all the new shoots on it. You know, here you can see where I've pruned it and cut it back, so it's really nice to see this starting to come into flower and start to come into bud. And then the rhubarb, as ever, still coming out of its shell. I don't force my rhubarb. I have seen it done, but these I'm just going to let them do their own thing. So these beds here that you can see just behind me, right here, the manure in them hasn't rotted down very well. It hasn't rotted down at all, if anything, which is a little bit frustrating. So what I've decided to do is actually put compost on top of them and create a little bit of a hotbed, hopefully. So the manure that's there will start rotting down, create a bit of hotbed, and then I can plant into the compost that I put on top of it. It's just an idea. So I saw it on another YouTube channel, worked for her, so I'm going to give it a go as well. So there we go. That is it for the week. That's what I've done this week. So take care, guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you again soon.